Hello, friendly people of the internet. I am Hyper Super Sora, and welcome back to another The Good, The Bad, and The Fan-worthy. Where today we're on the GX hype train, as I always am, talking about the Clear archetype and how it finally got new cards. Over 20 years after the fact? Yes, they finally adapted some of the more clear monsters. We will get into them as we get into them, but personally, I'm not too hyped about them. Since, for one, I didn't see Season 4 as a kid, so don't really have that much of a nostalgic attachment to them. And secondly, they're not going to be competitively viable. I can tell you that much for sure right now. Not because I haven't read these beforehand, but this is an old GX archetype. This is going to be a rough one, so let's just get into it. Our first card is Clear Phantom. 1200 attack, 800 defense. Level 3, Dark. That will be irrelevant soon enough. Fiend effect monster. You can only activate the first effect of this card's once per turn. Okay. You can discard this card and one other card. Add one Clear World and or spell and trap that mentions it from your deck to your hand. Alright, it searches the field spell that they kind of run off of. Clear World says that they do things depending on the attribute and the clear monsters. Hopefully this one will show it. Don't rely on attributes. They're clear. Second effect. You are unaffected by the effects of Clear World. Again, with the not having an attribute thing. Could have just said it doesn't have an attribute, but unaffected by Clear World is good enough. Third effect. If this card is destroyed, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. And if you do, send the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. So when anyone else reads this, do they think anime filler card that just so happens to have somewhat of a decent effect? I'd have to look at Sigitaro's. I forget the guy's name, but he was basically the penultimate villain before Darkness showed up. And see if this is like a random fucking anime card that they just gave a field spell search effect onto. Yeah, sending the top 3 cards from your opponent's deck to the graveyard when it gets destroyed by your opponent. Great effect. Not only are they getting resources because they're milling stuff from the deck to the graveyard, which the graveyard is basically a second hand. I really hope you can't hear that dog barking. And bad. Just bad. The fact that it requires it and another card to get Clear World, just bad. I knew what I was getting into and I'm still disappointed. Shit. Next card. Next up is Clear Rage Golem. Level 4, Dark, Rock Effect Monster. You can only use the first effect of this card once per turn. By the way, 1600 attack, 1800 defense. You can activate the first effect of this card once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can activate this effect. You can only activate this effect this card once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can activate this effect. This turn, your monster, cards that mention Clear World, can attack directly. Okay. Second effect is being unaffected by Clear World. And third, when this card inflicts damage, as it will do, to your opponent, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card in their hand. Bad. 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 For the love of God, it's not even 1800. I know this is just adapting stuff that showed up in the anime. For the love of God, when the best card is your Field Searcher, and I already thought that was kind of shit too? Oh, Jesus. Next card. Clear Cube. It's It's more of a prism, but okay. The cube's inside the prism. So, Cubics, are you getting a new card? Okay. Level 1 Dark Machine Effect Monster, 0 attack, 0 defense. Machine Dupe! You are unaffected by the effects of Clear World. That's its first line of text, okay. But what's next? Second effect. During your main phase, you can normal summon in one monster that mentions Clear World. I think the translation's fucky on this site. In addition to your normal summoner set, you can only gain this effect once per turn. I mean, an additional normal summon is always good. It's always going to be good. But what about that third effect? If this face-up card leaves the field, extra normal summon, so by your opponent, never fucking mind, you can special summon one monster that mentions Clear World from your deck. I mean, I'm gonna give it a good just based on the fact of extra normal summons. But for the love of God, could you do something other than being destroyed by your opponent? Have some proactive stuff, mind you. Ugh. Next card. Next world is Clear Vice Dragon? Clear Vice Knight, sorry. Why did I say dragon? Ugh. But I think I'm saying that right, Vice. Level 7. Can't even get it out with the extra normal summon. Fuck that. Dark Warrior Effect Monster. 2300 attack, 1100 defense. You can also tribute summon this card by tributing one monster that mentions Clear World. So that additional normal summon is actually going to be good for something. Good to know. First effect. Gain attack equal to the monster with the highest original attack on your opponent controls. I mean, okay, so it's 23 bigger than the strongest thing your opponent has, but whatever. Second, you're unaffected by Clear World, fine. Third effect, your opponent cannot activate the effect of special summon monsters they control, well, that have less attack than this tributed card. I mean, I suppose this could work as a going second option, but I'm not sure if it really does much. I'll give it a good for its stun effect. And since it's always going to be bigger than their biggest thing, okay. Next card, and I believe our final card for today. I was right. Clear Wall, continuous spell. You can only activate the first effect of this card once per turn. First effect, if a Clear World is on the field, you can add one monster that mentions Clear World from your deck to your hand. I mean, getting infinite searches is fine, so what's the second effect? Monsters that mention Clear World cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, reduce the battle damage you would receive from the battle to 0. I mean, okay. So I get to normal summon a bunch of idiots, they're not destroyed by battle, and I don't take damage. So far, so good. And infinite searches when I have the field spell and it. But, again, not really seeing much of a payoff or anything. Third effect. While you control a level 7 or higher monster that mentions Clear World, apply all the effects of Clear World to your opponent, regardless of the attribute they control. Okay. So I get the game plan. The game plan is to have Clear World, summon the big guy from this, have him stun them out of the game because they have to special summon to do things, and apply literally every single effect that Clear World has to offer. All the negative ones, at least. And since the clear monsters are unaffected by Clear World, because they don't have an attribute, but they say just unaffected by Clear World instead of not having an attribute, because they're fancy like that. I mean, this is the crux of the archetype, not going to lie, that in Clear World. So I'll give it a good for its infinite searching. But again, the whole point is to just get Clear World on the field. That is the whole crux of the archetype. And to be honest, it doesn't have that much of a payoff. Yes, it is an anime archetype that we didn't get the cards printed for a long ass time, and I'm happy to see them. But if you ask me if they're going to make splash in a competitive scene, which this whole little skit I do is all about, wondering if new cards are actually going to do something for the meta, no, they are not. I mean, it might be an engine for something if Clear World actually searched up, and considering it was a field spell before 2010, I doubt it. Then again, I just might need to read it again, but who knows. Matter of fact, let me get on that. Yeah, I don't really see the point of also the life point loss. Anyway. Clear monsters. The only clear monster I want to see is Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Anyway, what did you guys think of these new clear cards? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. And subscribe for having attributes, but not because we're unaffected by the thing that has attributes. Attribute? And don't forget to hit that little notification bell to see when I upload all the time. Till next time, Hyper Super Sora. Sayonara.